My kid looked me right in the eyes and lied to my face. I knew it, they knew it, and what I did next surprised both of us. First, let's explore, why do children lie? Well, when kids are very young, lying is kind of developmentally normal. It's blurring of imaginary and reality. Little kids often say things that they wish were true, that they think are true, that they imagine to be true. And it takes a little bit of time and development for them to actually be able to differentiate between what actually happened, what the truth is, and what they would have liked to have happened. As children grow a little bit older, say 4, 5, 6, they are able to differentiate usually between what's reality and what is in their imagination. And now lying starts to become a little bit more of a tool. They might do it because they're afraid. Fear leads them to worry about your reaction, about getting caught. And they're basically managing you by compartmentalizing the truth away from you and obscuring things that they think will upset you, or their teachers or their friends. That's why they lie, because they're afraid of people's reactions to what they've done. They might also feel a deep sense of shame about what they've done. Maybe they know they've done something wrong. They know that it's against the rules, and it's not so much that they're afraid of your reaction, but they feel too ashamed. It's too dangerous to say the truth out loud because it would make them into some kind of bad kid. And they might also just be testing. Some kids want to know, can I get away with this? How clear are your boundaries? Will you even catch me? That's the type of lying that is a little bit of a manipulation, where they want to see if they are able to take control over the situation. Even though you said no, they did it anyway. And now if they lie, does that give them the control to get away with the things that they wanted to get away with? So here's the first thing we need to remember as parents. Lying is unfortunate and annoying and unpleasant and wrong, but it's also developmentally normal. Children and even tweens and teens certainly will lie, most of them at some point or another, and some of them extensively and repeatedly. So in a way, the lie itself is not the problem. The lie is going to happen sooner or later, probably. But the lie is information. It does give us a window into our child's thinking, into their priorities, into their sense of themselves and the relationship with us and others. So the lie is information. It shows us, what are they afraid of? It pains me to say this because my children have definitely lied to me on occasion, but research shows pretty clearly that kids who are afraid of their parents' big reactions, kids who feel that they have really reactive parents, lie more frequently and more skillfully. They just get better at lying because they're afraid of their parents' big reactions. So what are those reactions that we want to avoid? Let's talk about the worst responses. And I'm the first to say that I've had these responses in the past, because when your child lies, it's very triggering. It's really upsetting. It kind of reflects on the trust that you've built between you, on your relationship. Like, why can't they trust me with telling me the truth? What do they think? The fact that your child is afraid of you, or it makes you worry about their moral compass. What, have I raised a liar and a cheater? Have I raised a scumbag? Why don't they know that telling the truth is really important? And depending on what culture you come from, usually lying is considered wrong. It's considered morally abhorrent, like something that you should never do. You should always own it and tell the truth no matter what. But if we think about it a little bit further, we know that even if it's considered wrong, lying is so common. Lying is normalized, and it's quite typical actually. Even in our adult world, or especially in our adult world, people are lying all the time. People lie about why they were late, why they didn't get to their job in time. They lie about what they think about your outfit or about the party that they went to. People lie about their marriages, about their finances, about their looks, about their health. It's very common in the adult world to find lying. Even so, when our child lies to us about something they've done, like maybe they took a snack they weren't allowed to take, or they sneaked the iPad into their room at night, or maybe they are lying about the fact that they did clean their room and in fact they didn't. These types of lies can really hurt us as parents because we feel like there should be trust and closeness and openness in our relationship with our child. And our child should be an honest, stand-up person. We want them to be straightforward and we want them to be reliable. So what do most parents do? Well, most of us start by interrogating them like a detective. We come on really strong, right? Even our body language is kind of aggressive, and we just ask them a lot of questions, right? And what happens here is that they start to squirm, they start to dodge our questions and evade us and withhold even more information, and they just get even better at lying. The kind of more aggressively and more strong we come on, the more they are going to try to exit stage left and find an exit route away from the conversation, because it just feels too aggressive and too confrontational for them, and that makes them even more scared about our reaction. The next typical thing that we do is we shame them. We say things like, I can't believe you do this. Trust is so important and I believed you and how could you lie to my face? And lying is wrong and it says in the Bible not to lie. And we kind of come on very strong with the preaching, with the shaming, with the guilt, right? And that also is going to shut down future honesty because kids, like all of us, don't like to be shamed. So they want to avoid that reaction in the future. Or many of us don't like confrontation and we're scared of shaming our kids. We don't want them to feel bad about what they've done, and we don't want to interrogate them and rupture or kind of fracture the trust between us. We let it go. A lot of parents let lies slide. We see that they did something that they said they didn't do. We see that they took something that they said they didn't take, and we see that they actually didn't complete their homework even though they promised us they did. And instead of confronting them, we rather just let it go because we just want to keep the peace, right? Keeping the peace in that way by not actually calling it out and confronting it and talking about it teaches our children that it's okay to get away with lying, that this is an adaptive technique, that this coping mechanism actually works because they never get caught, they never even get called on it. There's zero pain and zero punishment and no downside to lying. And so in this case, they too will continue to lie because you've basically endorsed it with your inaction. What we need to make sure is that the consequences of telling the truth are not worse than the consequences of lying. We're all motivated towards pleasure and away from pain. And if there's more pain at the end of being honest than there is pleasure, then we're not going to be honest. If being honest with our parents is easier, is better, is an easier consequence to face than lying, then we'll choose that route. And so you do actually have to make sure that your responses aren't so painful that it wasn't even worth telling you the truth to begin with. Why should I come clean? Why should I confess? Why am I going to fess up and be honest with you if it's even worse than carrying the lie that eats me up inside? Either way, there's pain, but here there's even more pain. And so I'm going to choose the easier route. You might say, well, that's wrong or that's not okay, but that is just human nature. And we do need to be aware of that as parents. So let's talk about what to actually do. And I'll say I've managed to do this a few times with my children, and it's been actually quite wonderful, to be honest. It's a good process because at the end of it, you feel like, well, I'm really upset that my child lied, but I'm really happy with how I handled it. And I think this whole experience has brought us closer. So how do we do that? Well, step number one, pretty much like all parenting, is that we regulate ourselves first. You cannot do this well when you're furious. So if your child lies to your face and you've caught them and you know that they're lying to your face, take a step back. It feels like an emergency, but this is something that you can treat in a few minutes or even hours. You don't have to deal with it right there and then. In contrast to dog training, where if your dog pees on the rug, you've got to react in that moment. With children, we actually have time. We can talk to them a bit later when we're calm because they can remember and they can recall, and we can be calmer and much better positioned to have a challenging conversation, which is going to demand some regulation from us. It's going to demand some control and taking a higher road, really calling forth our higher selves. Step two is to name what you do know and calmly. You want to be brutally honest and clear, not evasive, not vague, not speaking in euphemisms or hints, but you want to say it in a way that isn't interrogating them or shaming them. It's simply stating the bare bone facts. Okay, so it's something like, Let's take a really simple and almost silly example, but no lying is silly. It's important to catch every lie and to call it out in this way. So say my child took cookies from the cookie jar and I told them not to. And then they lied to me about it and they said, I didn't take a cookie. Okay, I calm myself down. My child just lied to my face. Why are they lying to my face? I do the whole coaching, I relax, and I come in for step 2 and I say, sweetie, I do know that you did take the cookie. Okay, I know this is the fact. You took the cookie from the cookie jar. And so we're just stating that so that they get clear information that there's no wiggle room here. They can't get out of reality. They can't escape the truth. The truth is here. We've stated it clearly. We've put it before them. We've laid it out. And we haven't layered or embellished on top of that any kind of judgment or moral reasoning or explanation or accusation. We're just saying the bare bone facts. You took a cookie from the cookie jar. Or even if you wanted to take it into less accusatory language, you could say, I know a cookie was taken from the jar. So you don't use the word you, which sometimes kind of triggers defensiveness. You just say, this is what I know. I do know it was taken from the... And if you have to, if they're like, it wasn't me, you can say, I do know it was you who took the cookie from the... Right? And so just saying, I know that that's not what happened, or I know that that is what happened, helps them to come to terms with reality that the truth has visited on their door. We've knocked on their door with the truth and they're going to have to open it. Speaking of opening the door, step number 3 is to open the door to connection and to what's going to happen next. We want to calm our child down. And what's really important in this whole conversation is body language, is tone of voice, is the fact that we're not dramatizing. We're not going to layer on top of this. We're not going to bring forth all their previous lies or any kind of misdemeanors from other areas. We're just talking about this specific scenario. So we're keeping it really specific. And we're not doing a personality assassination. We're not saying that they, as a character, are flawed. We're not saying that they are wrong or bad. We're saying this is what happened and you lied about it. So we're really getting very kind of pinpointed and surgical about what we're talking about. But as you can see, even as I'm talking to you now, our shoulders are relaxed, our body is chilled. We're not clenching our jaws and gritting our teeth and making fists of our hands. We're relaxed, we're approachable, our body language is open. Our chest is wide open for a hug, our arms are open, we're using our hands and animating what we're saying so that we're not kind of stiff or scary, we're not towering over them, we're maybe sitting down, coming down to eye level, okay, and talking in a voice that is calm and slow. We're not going to dramatize this, we're not escalating it, we want to get to the bottom of it and we want to have honesty and truth. And that's where we say, I'm not going to lose it. I do need to know the truth. We're reassuring our child that they're not going to see a big tantrum from us. We're not going to start screaming. We are upset. We don't like it. We don't like that they lied. That's not okay. And still, we're going to self-regulate. So they're getting the reassurance that they're not going to get a very scary parent in a moment. And that we do need and deserve the truth. Okay, so I'm not going to lose it. I'm not going to yell at you. I'm going to be okay. We're going to have a calm conversation. But I do need to hear the truth right from your mouth. Step number 4 is the whole game. And this is where you respond to the truth better than you would respond to the lie. So say your child did take the cookie and they lied about it and you were like, you're lying to me. I know you took the cookie, and you storm off and you're angry and you're frustrated. We don't lie in this house. Lying is not okay, right? And now you come back and you're calm and you're saying, I know you took the cookie. I'm not going to lose it. I do need the truth. And then maybe they confess, or at least they don't deny. And they sit there and they're saying, so what if it was me? Well, maybe I did, I don't remember, right? Something along those lines. And then you respond even better. So you stay calm and you actually respond to the fact that they've said the truth. Not to the fact that they took the cookie, but to the fact that they are being honest about it. So there you can say something like, I'm so proud of you for telling me the truth. That wasn't easy to make a confession, but you did. In this family, we really value honesty. That builds trust. And the fact that you could tell me the truth just now is wonderful. That's so mature. Well done. I'm really proud of you. So the point here is that we are going to respond really well. There's going to be a positive reinforcement to honesty. They're going to feel a little bit proud of themselves, like, wow, I did a hard thing. Wow, my mom is proud of me that I just said that. Even though I said something she's not happy about, even though I did something wrong, she is happy that I now expressed the truth. And that is going to be rewarded in that moment. Maybe you're going to give them a little hug. Maybe you're going to say, hey, that wasn't easy. Maybe you're going to say, a lot of people don't even know how to tell the truth into their 30s and 40s. And you just told the truth right now, even though you know you did something wrong. That makes me really proud of you. Okay, so what we're addressing with this positivity is the truth telling, not the bad thing that they did, but the fact that they confessed. And we want them to know that we admire that takes moral courage and strength and backbone. And those are the things we want to see more of in this family. And that makes us even prouder than we were disappointed in the lie. Okay, we're even prouder in the truth telling than we were angry about the initial lie. And that's how we shift the balance. That's how the whole game goes, that they get more positive reinforcement from truth telling than they got negative reinforcement from being untruthful. Step number 5 is that we do want to address the original issue, okay? We actually want to talk to them about the fact that they took a cookie when they weren't allowed to, when we said no more cookies now. So we do want to talk about that. But here's the trick, okay, is that we're separating the initial bad behavior that they covered up from the lie itself. And these are two completely separate conversations. So the first conversation that we're having here is, let's just put the cookie taking to one side for a moment. I want to talk to you about lying. I'm really proud of you for telling the truth, and I don't want to ever hear you lie again. Lying is never worth it. You always get caught. You always feel bad about yourself on the inside. Really trust, and trust is something that's very hard to build. It takes a long time because look, next time you tell me I didn't do it, how am I going to know if you're telling me the truth or if you're lying when you've already shown me that you tend to lie or that you were capable of lying, or at least in this case, you lied. So we talk to them about the importance of the truth, the pragmatism of truth, why it's a good policy every single time, why it works in their favor, and why lying always ends up being a higher price to pay. Because you do get caught, because relationships do get destroyed, because you do break trust, and because people in the future don't believe in you as much anymore. Right? We can talk about the boy who cried wolf. We can talk about the fact that lying is corrosive to relationships, and about the fact that it eats us up from the inside because we know that it's wrong. That's one conversation. And separately, and maybe later, maybe after a little break, we make a break to show that this is a separate conversation. We also want to talk about what they've done. Okay, maybe they sneaked their phone. Maybe they took something from a friend and weren't honest about it, done a job and they haven't done it. So those types of things, we want to say, hey, I need to be able to trust you. If you say you're going to do something, you're going to do it. That's the lying part. Secondly, go and do it. Or how do we make amends? Maybe you need to fix something. Maybe you need to pay for something. Maybe you need to write a sorry letter to someone, right? You did something wrong, then you lied about it. So that's two wrong things. Now we need to make amends for the initial wrong thing that you did. So the goal of this whole conversation is not a confession. You may or may not get a straightforward confession. It would be nice if you did, because that's a good skill for a child to have. But the goal is actually to show them that the truth is safe and that the truth is the best policy and that they can do it. It takes courage. You've been there before, right? Where you have to fess up to something. It's not easy to say, I messed up, or I actually lied about that. That's not true. I'm sorry. I want to just come clean and put everything on the table. We've been in those positions. You maybe were there as a child. That's not an easy thing to do. So we really want to put the main emphasis on the moral courage and the fortitude that it takes to do that, and less on the initial. The goal is to have a child who believes that the truth is safe with you, that they can be honest with you even when they've done something wrong, and that you won't come down on them like a ton of bricks. Now, I want to take all of this and share with you how it changes as children grow older, because there are some things that are more specific to tweens and teens. The truth is that when little children lie, first of all, they're usually little lies, like taking a cookie from the cookie jar, or I didn't do my homework. And those types of lies are annoying, they're upsetting, but they're not high stakes. Also, it feels more developmentally appropriate. And so it feels more forgivable and more natural and more developmentally appropriate. However, when teens or tweens are lying, the stakes become a lot higher. okay? Because they might be lying about their location. Where did I go? About their friends, who was I with? About their phones. Am I accessing certain content or not? Am I on social media? Am I scrolling into the night without you knowing? They might be lying about things that are already in safety territory, right? It's already about dangerous things to themselves, right? And the question that we have to ask ourselves as our children become tweens and teens is, have I made truth-telling safe, or do I make it too costly? Am I showing my tween and teen that it's lower stakes to tell me the truth than it is to lie to me? Or is the cost so high that they just are going to avoid it altogether, and they're going to keep corroding the trust and avoiding telling the truth, even though that's not a good path either, but it's better than telling me the truth because I'm going to be so scary or difficult or have such severe consequences that it's not worth it. Now, this is built into the small moments way before it's built into the big ones. The little times that they lie from childhood, we build up gradually a sense that truth-telling is rewarded in this family and that it's safe. That I won't be super mad, I'll regulate myself, I'll take a break, and I'll help you. I'll be here to help you to make amends. I can see you in all your shame and in all your guilt and in all the wrong things that you've done, and I can be there with you because I was there too. I've been there too as an adult, as a kid. I know what it's like. I get it. We all make mistakes. We all do wrong things sometimes. The devil on our shoulder gets the better of all of us at times. But our mom and our dad should be there to help us to overcome that and to fix things, right? To make a repair. So we need to build up not only our trust in them, that they're not liars, but their trust in us, that we are kind of emotionally safe people to share the truth with. And sometimes I would advise making this explicit. So at the dinner table, on a drive, when you're cooking together, tell your teen, honey, I hope this never happens, but you might find yourself in trouble someday. Maybe friends are offering you drugs or pressuring you to drink, or you're at a party where people are doing dangerous things and you just want out of there. And maybe you lied to me about going there to begin with, and now you don't know what to do. I want you to know you can always tell me the truth. If you get in trouble at school, if you get in trouble with the law, if you're in some kind of complicated web of entanglement or a love triangle with friends, if you've done something naughty that's not allowed in our religion or in our home, I'm someone you can come to and tell me about it, and I will help you find a way forward. There's always a way to repair. And I might not like what you did. I might be really upset or disappointed in what you did, but I'll never not be in your corner. I'll still be there to help you, and I'll get over my upset so that I can be a safe person to help you moving forward. To that end, you might make a code with them. Like, if you call me and say, Mom, I forgot my keys, I know that I don't ask any questions, I don't interrogate you, I don't shame you, we'll save all that for another time. I just show up and help you out. Okay, where are you? I'm coming to get you, right? It's just a code to get your parent to come and help you, even when you've done something really, really wrong. You might make a secret code. You might make a text message. You might make a way of saying to your mom, hey, I need to tell you something, but I'm scared to tell you. So for example, in my household, this movement that we do with our hands, making a heart with our hands, is a way of saying, listen, I need to tell you something, but I want good vibes between us. I need a good atmosphere. I need you to not be super mad. Like, can you just listen to me? Can we correct and repair? So if my child sees that I'm getting very angry and triggered and they want to tell me something, they might make this code with their hands, right? Where I see a little heart and it reminds me, it signals to my brain, be a good mom, calm yourself down, be there for your kid, don't be scary. I can still discipline them. There can still be consequences later. We can still talk through all the things they've done wrong. But in this moment, I need to show up for them and build the trust that I'm a good person to come to. And with tweens and teens, we need to reiterate and explain again and again, anytime that they evade the truth, that they bend the truth, that they tell a white lie, that this is not a good policy, that this is how they break trust, and that the more privileges and freedoms they want, the more trustworthy and reliable they need to be. So if you tell me you're going to be home at 10 p.m., but you were home at 10:15, and you just kind of brush it under the rug, what's 15 minutes, whatever, I was on my way home, my battery died, I didn't catch the ride. If you start making excuses, that lowers my trust in you. If you own it and you say, you know what, I should have been home at 10. I was home at 10:15. That's not acceptable and it won't happen again. If you own that, we build more trust going forward. Every time you lie to me about curfew or about phones or about friends or about homework, I actually lock down privileges and freedoms because you're not a trustworthy person. And teens and tweens need to learn that adulthood is about a match between responsibility and freedom. You want all these privileges of the adult world, you'll have to be just as responsible as adults need to be. That means being timely. That means doing the hard and annoying jobs. That means pushing through uncomfortable or tiring or boring work in order to unlock those freedoms and privileges. And so reward anytime your child is trustworthy, is honest, is straightforward, is adult-like in their behavior in the best possible way. Reward that with unlocking privileges and freedoms. And when they are not able to be honest and trustworthy, that's when those privileges and freedoms get taken away. But we do so in a warm, in a calm, in a straightforward way. Like, I'm treating you like a grown-up. I'm treating you at eye level. I'm not talking down to you. When you can be super trustworthy, predictable, reliable, that's when I can trust you with things like the car or going out late or having more freedoms on social media. And when you are sneaking or lying to me about it, that actually breaks my trust. And so you get less of those privileges, not more of them. So let's work together. Let's build the trust up. Let's build a sense of real honesty and transparency between us. And when we have that, I will feel a lot more comfortable releasing many more privileges into your life. Hi, I'm Avital. I'm the founder of HiFam. I'm the mother of 5, and I'm here on a mission to help you to build a strong family culture. If that's something that speaks to you, make sure to hit the subscribe button. I would love it if you give it a thumbs up, and make sure to leave me your comment below. Have your children ever lied to you, and what have you done about it? And also make sure to leave me topics that you would like me to cover in the future. So let's just summarize what we learned here today. Lying is developmentally normal and appropriate. Sometimes it just happens because imagination, but sometimes it's about testing your boundaries or a fear of your reaction and an internal shame of what will happen if I'm found out. So then what do? We go through a few stages. Number 1, we regulate ourselves and calm down so we can come to the conversation in control. Number 2, we name what we know. Really clearly, bare bone facts. We just say, I know that didn't happen. Number 3, we open the door to an honest conversation. We say, hey, I'm not going to lose it, but I do need to hear the truth. And number 4, we respond to the truth even better than we would have responded to the lie. We actually reward the truth telling. And number 5, we address the original issue, what you did wrong, but we address it separately from the lying itself. Those are the steps that we take, whether our child is young or a tween or a teen, because we need to address lying every single time so the children learn that this is a truth-telling family, that we believe that honesty is the best policy and that you won't be punished for telling the truth. We want our children to know that we are safe to come to, even with very difficult truths that we might get very upset about, but we won't get so upset that it's not worth telling us. It's still worth telling us because we will be in your corner. All right, make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Keep on living that high life, and I'll see you in the next video.